Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about the signs/symptoms, whatever you want to call it, that led to me ultimately going to the doctor and asking for some advice, some help, because I didn't feel quite normal, you know. Basically, we're going to talk about the signs that led me to seeking an ADHD diagnosis. So yeah, but first, if you could smash me a big thumbs up down below and subscribe to my YouTube channel, I will forever be grateful. So yeah, let's get on to the video. So before we start, I just want to declare, you know, this is just a disclaimer. This is not the official DSM. This is not a diagnostic criteria. These are the signs that I personally had that indicated that I had ADHD. These are the ones that personally I struggled with, like so bad that I needed to go and get some help. You know, these are my symptoms, my traits. They are not, you know, a diagnostic for ADHD. Just because you have some of these, that does not mean you have ADHD. If you feel like, you know, you can relate to a lot of them, then please reach out to, you know, a professional. Please don't use my videos as a diagnostic tool, as that's not what they are for. I'm just raising awareness of the complexities and how, you know, how much of a spectrum and how broad the symptoms of ADHD can be. And these particular ones are the signs and the symptoms that led me to a diagnosis of ADHD. So I'm going to start with the one that I personally feel affected my family life, you know, my education. Basically, it affected everything, and it led to me ultimately thinking, why is this happening? I'm still, you know, I'm still finding this particular thing really difficult. I shouldn't have gone, you know, should I have grown out of it? So yeah, the first one is frequent emotional meltdowns, being very argumentative, like easily frustrated, losing my temper, super hot temper. And it just got worse as I got older. The more responsibility kind of I took on, the worse it got. So like my temper would just blow, and it was so unpredictable that it wasn't just me that was affected. It was my teachers, my family, you know, my family's friends, my grandparents, because it was just so unpredictable. And yeah, my parents said they felt like they were walking on eggshells a lot of the time. So yeah, the first one for me was frequent, very, very frequent emotional meltdowns, and I'm just being very argumentative, losing my rag, just being super hot-tempered basically. And anger. I was so angry all of the time. I felt so angry, so agitated, so irritated. And yeah, that was the first one that was a big kind of telltale sign that something was not quite right. So the next one is something that I still struggle with to this day, and it hasn't got any easier on medication. It's just something that I always feel like I'm going to struggle with, and that is maintaining friendships and relationships is really, really difficult for me. So this was an issue even when I was a lot younger. I never had any friends, or if I did have friends, there was like constant and frequent falling out, and it was usually because I became like overly obsessed or controlling, quite jealous if that other person had any other friends. You know, it was a very difficult time for me trying to make friends. So ultimately, like, you know, like I'm 24 now and I still have no friends because I just can't deal with the drama. I can't deal with the heartbreak. So yeah, that was another sign that something wasn't quite right, because I just couldn't maintain friendships. Making them wasn't as bad, but it still was challenging, but maintaining them was a really, really difficult thing for me, still is now. So yeah, that was another sign that there was something not quite right. So the next one, again, is really, really challenging for me still, but my mood swings were so unpredictable. You know, it was actually quite scary for me personally, because I could 1 minute feel really, really happy, really excited, and then literally like half an hour, 10 minutes later, it plummets, and I was feeling depressed, anxious, really low, on edge, and it really was ruining my life, because nothing felt like I had any control over anything. I was just like, I felt a bit like scatty, you know, I don't know if that's the word to use, but that is how I felt. I felt very out of control of my own body and really disconnected from my own emotions. Like my moods would just swing like a pendulum, like bling, bling, bling. Like it would go really fast, and I could never get hold of them and just like capture the moment, you know. Everything changed so quickly and so drastically, rapidly, like it was just crazy. And again, that kind of made me feel like I may have inherited my mum's bipolar. That was a big thing for me. I thought, oh my goodness, I might have bipolar. And that was the thing that made me go to the doctor, because I know the signs of bipolar, and some of my symptoms, traits, made me believe that I could have bipolar. And that was why, you know, all these things were becoming more and more like real to me, because it was like, wow, they are affecting my life. And my mood swings wasn't just affecting me, but like I say, my family, my employment, like, you know, the friends that I tried to make, that ruined them. And it was just one of those things that I just couldn't understand why it happened to me. So this one is a trait that definitely caused me a lot of havoc in school, clubs, hobbies, you know, basically, yeah, every single day. So that's time management. I have always struggled with time management, especially organisation. That is one that I struggle with a lot. I just don't have the desire to want to get things ready and like prepare myself for things like going out the next day. I'd rather just do it the last minute. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's like pre-travel, like, or like, you know, like going out, like, you know, pre-going out anxiety, social anxiety that like stops me from wanting to organise and get prepared. I don't know, but it's always been a huge thing, and I'm always late all the time because I forget something, because I didn't organise myself the night before and I didn't pack what I needed, so I have to go back and get it. Yeah, I've always struggled with time management in all different scenarios, but especially organisation. I like procrastinated organising anything. So yeah, that was definitely a telltale sign. And also it was something that really annoyed my parents and my sister. Like they'll be like, come on, are you ready to go? And I'm like, oh, I haven't even packed yet, or oh god, I haven't even put my shoes on. Like people are just like, you've known that we need to leave by 10 for 2 months or like a week now. I gave you plenty of warning and you're still not ready. Like people just used to get really annoyed at me. So yeah, poor time management was something again that was just like, why can I not do it? I know I need to get ready, but why am I still not doing it? Yeah, great. It was, yeah, I still struggle. Yeah, I've recently spoke about this one and you guys know, but this one again was something that was very embarrassing for me, very personal, and like I said, it was a big issue, and that was keeping on top of my hygiene. And now I know why, for like sensory issues, but at the time I didn't know. But I just had no desire to want to shower, to bath, you know, everything felt like, oh, do I have to? I'll do it later, and later never came. And, you know, things like that just, yeah, brushing my teeth made me want to gag, so I wouldn't do it. And, you know, even though I wanted clean teeth and I was very, very self-conscious of my teeth being dirty or looking yellow or, you know, anything hygiene-wise, you know, I didn't want to be the smelly kid. Even though I didn't want to be like that, I still had no desire to do it. So this trait had me thinking I was some type of like hamster or something. I felt absolutely like weird, like I was like nocturnal or something, or nocturnal, but you don't sleep at night, you sleep in the day. Like, yeah, basically I felt like I was a hamster, like I was gonna become like nocturnal or something, because I just couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't sleep at night. I couldn't fall asleep easily. Like that just didn't happen naturally for me. Like my mum and dad and my sister could just fall asleep, and then I'd be there like 4 o'clock in the morning thinking, right, am I going to go to sleep? Seriously, like when am I going to fall asleep? And that still happens to this day. It hasn't got any better. But the thing that I find that really irritates me the most is like restless leg syndrome. I don't know about anybody else, but that was something I really, really struggled with, and it then caused anxiety attacks for me personally, because I didn't know why my legs felt the way they did. I felt so restless, my legs were just like jittering, they felt achy, they hurt, and I never really understood why until I went to the doctor to get diagnosed with ADHD, and she explained it all to me. So now I understand why. So it's not as much of an anxiety trigger to me, but it was at the time, and it freaked me out completely. But yeah, that's another thing. Falling asleep, staying asleep, restless leg syndrome. So sleep in itself just didn't happen. So the next one is my biggest one that I wanted to leave till last, because I don't know, it was just something that definitely played on my mind a lot. And that one, you know, this one was, I always felt different. Like, I always had the feeling that I was different to my peers. I don't know how to explain it, but I just felt very odd. Like, you know, like everyone was blue and I was the green one. Like, everywhere I went, I just felt like odd one out. I didn't feel like I fitted in anywhere. I felt immature. I felt just completely dumb and like stupid compared to other people. I don't know why, but that's how I felt the majority of the time. And that's when I began to believe that I was broken, that I was the problem. You know, that's why people don't like me, because I just can't fit in. And this issue was kind of getting worse and worse and worse and worse as I got older, and I started to really believe that it was me. I felt like there is something wrong with me. Like, that is the issue here. I'm broken. Like, Molly is broken. Like, I don't know what was going on. I felt like I needed to put the fragile tape on me, because I felt like at any minute I'm just gonna break, because there's nothing that works well for me. Everything just seems to be broken. So I really did just begin to believe that I was like cursed or something, because nothing worked. I don't even know, everything just seemed to be this big miserable, I feel like you could explain it like Eeyore out of like Winnie the Pooh. Like, I was just walking around with a cloud over my head, just super like, I just felt like everyone had something against me, that it was me, and I was just like, what is going on? But yeah, that was another huge thing for me. So all throughout my life, the severity of all these traits, these signs, these symptoms, they were all different levels of severity throughout my life. One, you know, for a year or so, one of the symptoms might have been worse, and then the others kind of settled down. And then like the next year, there could be a whole new trait that just caused me even more trouble, more anxiety, you know, more, yeah. So each year, well, not each year, but every now and again, like, each trait would kick up and everything would be like about one specific trait. So for example, my hyperactivity might come out, and then bam, that's it. You know, everything just kicks one another off, and it just got to the point where I was 19 and I was like, there is something not right. Why am I still at college, being even more immature, getting kicked out of college at 19 because I can't behave, because I can't simply follow rules. I have to be in control. I have to be argumentative. Why does authority not scare me? Why do I have to feel the need to challenge that? You know, there were so many things, and I just felt like, what is wrong? And I actually came home and said to my mum, seriously, what is wrong with me? And she was like, you know, well, not in a nasty way, but she was like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. And there was always this question of like, is it Asperger's? Like, my mum was like, says she was convinced that it was Asperger's, and she was just like, that's what it is, you need to go to the doctor, because seriously, she said, I've been reading up for years, but she was waiting for me to make the call, and that was, you know, totally fine. And yeah, she was convinced it was Asperger's. And then I started looking online, because I was like, I'm not going to go to the doctor and be like, I think I've got Asperger's, because I just was like, no, I'm just not doing that. Done my research, I googled kind of like, what is Asperger's, tried to find out some of the main traits, the signs, and I really felt like I could identify with that. Like, I really did. But I wasn't going to just go to the doctor and be like, right, I think I've got Asperger's. I just didn't feel like that was the answer. Like, I could identify with it, I really could, but not all of it. And I felt like it wasn't touching up on a lot of the struggles that I have personally. I didn't feel like it was touching up on all of them. No. But then obviously I got down to that little wormhole, getting hyper focused, thinking that, you know, there must be a name for it. So I started googling stuff, started typing stuff in. A lot of the stuff I found was on Reddit. Like, I was googling the hell out of my behavioural traits, like talking about things that I struggled with, and bam, one day I came across ADHD. It didn't even strike me to Google that at the very beginning, because I just didn't know enough about it. I didn't feel like I identified much with the symptoms of ADHD, because all I knew really about ADHD was some boys had it when I was at school and they were kicked out. Like, that's literally all I knew. That was the extent to my knowledge about ADHD. That was literally it. Like, I had nothing else, and that's what I thought it was. God, was I wrong? Was I literally obnoxious with that like assumption of what it was, because I didn't know anything more about it. Then I stumbled across ADHD, and let me just say, as soon as I found the word, like the understand, like, I don't know what it was, I think it was it was on Reddit, and like I just happened to stumble across someone's question, and I was just reading it, and I was like, that's me. Oh my god, that's me. And I could really like just, I self-identify myself with all of them. And I remember screenshotting them and sending them to my mum and like, Mum, read this. And she's like, yeah, that's you. We both started looking into ADHD on its own, like, and that is really where I truly found my identity. I was like, that's it, I can go to the doctor and I can confidently say I think I have ADHD, and bam, there we go. I mean, it wasn't that simple. It was really a long-winded process where I actually had to end up paying over £1,000 to get, like, privately, because I was waiting on that waiting list for about how long was it? 2.5 years I was on the waiting list. So yeah, it was crazy. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, if you've learned something from this video, definitely comment down below. Let me know what your like main signs and traits were before you seeked help. So, is that the right word? Seeked help? Got help. But yeah, thank you so much. Remember to like and subscribe down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.